Jones is off. Billy Lanni has slid over. In this hour, we are joined by the one and only Rob Bradford. Bradford is brought to you by McFarland Energy, the heating, cooling, and bioheat delivery pros that Eastern Mass and all of Cape Cod depend on at McFarlandEnergy.com.
McFarland.
There it is.
Man,
Yes.
I'm not,
there it is.
I got it in like 1:30 in the morning last night.
Oh, my God. Well, you were in Atlanta. You were at the All-Star festivities.
Sick Brad.
Yeah, I mean, let me just, I don't know if you know this. I was in Atlanta at the All-Star game. I don't know if you know this. I got in 1:30 in the morning.
Nice.
And I have a very, very complicated relationship with, this is my takeaway from the All-Star game.
Yeah, let's hear it.
With Uber drivers or Lyft drivers.
Boy. What's your Uber rating?
Oh, I have a good. I go out of my. I'm paranoid about that.
Yeah, mine's
Aren't
not
you
the
guys
best.
paranoid about this?
I was paranoid. Mine, I took a tank one time because I took an Uber home from a beer fest once. And
Cleanup charges.
yeah, no, I didn't throw up,
all right.
but I think the guy thought that I would.
Yeah.
And so he was like looking at me in the back. I'm like, can I put the window down? The guy's like, oh,
Please
boy.
do.
So I think that tanked it. But other than that, I've been
I don't
pretty
put
nice.
I don't put it on don't talk to me mode because I feel like right out of the gate
Right.
that's like leading to
Who is this guy? Is what
yeah,
you're
who's
trying
this
to-
guy? I'm going to give him a bad rating. So I'm like, oh no. But then you actually have to talk to him,
Right.
and you have all kinds of stories. So I have like I said, I have a very conflicted relationship because I don't really want to talk to anybody. But then some of the stories are really like, what? Like I had one guy who was trying out for the USFL as a receiver.
Nice.
But he just smoked too much of that weed, you know,
Well,
like that
gets all of us.
He's like back in the day. He could have been the next great Birmingham Stallions wideout.
Normally, guys are like, oh, it would have been me, but I had like the knee injury. This guy's like, would have been me, but weed.
I just love pot too much.
Because no guys in the NFL are currently smoking weed. So
No, he was honest. And then anytime you have a guy who has self-published his own science fiction novel, you know,
Do you have a copy in the backseat?
Well, no, I don't think it's like a hard
written.
copy.
It.
Yeah,
It's all up here.
But you know that's a wild ride. when
Did
that's
you tell him you were a writer?
Unfortunately,
Okay,
I did.
so there you go. All right, so that's what it was.
It's just two Billy. It's just two writers just chopping it up.
I get it, right.
Then I had about another nice woman who was 35 or so, and I said, I do like. And she's like, oh, what do you do? You know, that's the thing. What do you do? I'm just driving. Oh, here's my go-to. What's your dream job?
you asked people what their dream
I
job
do.
is?
Yeah, I like to ask that.
Huh.
Yeah.
What was the answer?
It's like your dream job right now, right?
Well, a guy told me yesterday I'll never get my dream job. And I
True.
was like, joke's on you. This is it. This is it. I'm living it. So
Doesn't
too
get much
bad.
better than this.
Too bad, pal. This is what it is. But you were in Atlanta. We played
Yeah.
the Joe. What do you got? We got
Oh no,
headphone problems over
sorry,
here?
I'm good. I'm good.
Jones is always complaining about that too. Maybe somebody should look at that.
Yeah, well.
Somebody should come in.
Good Griff.
But I said, "What's your dream job?"
Yeah. What'd she say?
She's like, "I don't know. I've never thought about it." Like how when you get to like
35?
yeah.
Well, listen.
I mean,
some
you
of us are
gotta-
late
you gotta-
bloomers.
Well,
Think
yo, but
about
the
it.
thing is, though, I bet a lot of that, that ends after, 12 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I grew up, my dream job was to play professional baseball.
Yeah.
I got to high school, I'm like, ooh, I am not that good. So that dream was killed right then and there. So then I'm like, all right, what am I shooting for now?
Yeah.
Okay,
true.
but can you
Shoot
just
real
have
low,
something?
and then you
Oh,
can
yeah, right.
achieve
Give
it.
you something.
I mean,
Make up something.
President of the United States. I don't know.
She's like, make it through the day.
Yeah.
Like, all right. Start somewhere.
To not have to be a drive.
So anyway, it was like it was.
So a good trip overall, it sounds like.
No, it was it was a good trip. It was a good. I will say this: I heard you guys talk about the All-Star game about the ratings, and I think what it was, and you talk about staying up late, and I think really what this was an example of, which was if you sat and watched the game, you're like, but basically if you woke up the next day and looked at the clips of the Hank Aaron thing, of the hit off or whatever it was,
Yep.
you were like, that's awesome. And that's how most people are consuming this anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's our world now.
Yeah, there's cool moments in the game. I mean, I think, skiing Scooble is a great way to start the game. You have those guys. Shohei Ohtani's in the game. So, like, it was good. I think it was good for baseball.
You take away the home run derby at the end or swing off, whatever you want to call it, and I can't think of anything from the game that would have stood out.
No.
You know what I mean?
And honestly, I love talking to all these guys, but you walked into that American League clubhouse and like, we're the stars.
Yeah.
We're the
Although,
stars.
so Jones and I, we did this the other week where we were like looking at this year's lineups, and then we were like, oh man, it used to be a lot better. And then we started pulling up random old lineups.
The Scott Cooper lineup?
Yeah, like Jermaine Dye and like Travis Fryman and some of these guys like starting in the
Scott
All-Star game,
Hatteberg.
and you're like, oh.
But you forget,
Right.
those guys were like, they were decent players. They were known
Well, they're all
players.
starting all-stars. They should be decent.
I
But I'm
know
saying,
that
but
you
like
guys are-
10 years from now, don't you think we'll look back and be like, yeah, Riley Green was really good?
No.
Oh, okay. Take that, Riley Green. Take that, Terp.
I mean, there's
Send that to Riley Green.
You know, one of the things I love is I do love like how much these guys want to be there. We talked about Shane Smith, Danvers' own.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who
you had a good one-on-one with him about
launched
North Shore
the greatest
beefs.
debate of the All-Star game, which is what's the best North Shore beef?
Yeah.
But, you know, he's just so happy to be there. These guys,
And then he drilled Suarez.
Right. Well, again, so happy to
Maybe
be
too
there.
happy to be there. He reined it in
Overexcited.
Yeah. So, but it's Chris Bubich of Kansas City, Zach McKinstry of like all these guys are just so happy to be there, which is a great thing. But I don't know if it leads to like, oh my goodness, what an All-Star game. But I will say this: the home run derby, I loved. And it was because of
Are you talking about the swing off or like
no,
the derby?
no,
Like
the
actual
derby.
Got it,
the
got
night
it.
before.
Yeah, I like the
Big
swing
dumper.
off. Great. Yeah. But the home run derby was because you had these guys who you don't necessarily get to see a ton, and you just hear about how like physically awesome they are. Junior Caminero and O'Neal Cruz and these guys, and you're like, holy mackerel, James Wood, like. Oh my! I don't realize that guy could hit the ball that far, and so I go out to left field because I want to mingle with a riffraff.
Sure.
And so
How about that kid almost robbed one?
Well,
Kid in left field. Yeah, well, they said he did. I don't even know
like,
if that
how
was
are we?
going over.
Can we effort him to get on the show? Let's go.
He's a good
But
player.
it's so I see one guy catch the ball, and everyone's like, "Yeah, what a catch! What a catch!" Then a little while later, Byron Buxton hits one, and it's literally the next guy over. The guy goes to catch it, and it hits him in the eye. And his eye looked like Rocky in the commercial in Rocky 2.
It exploded? Like
It
his
exploded.
eye? Oh.
Yeah. So
Fun day at the home run derby?
and then-
Yeah, well.
And then talking about my instincts not being correct, when I go down to interview Byron Buxton, he's like, that was the best experience of my life and everything else. I'm like, oh, yeah, do you realize you hit a guy in the eye?
You can't think of that as a hitter.
What did he say? Like,
He just
no,
kinda,
thanks,
he's like,
man.
he didn't really.
Shouldn't have been standing
There's
there.
nowhere to go from that. It's like, and I quickly
home
like, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault.
He had to Robin Williams him off the ledge.
Right. Exactly. Thank you, Billy. Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, it was.
But
it
no,
was a
it was
time.
good. It was good. Joe Ryan obviously has been the number one conversation, not just from you. You sort of started it, but Alex Bregman, Garrett Crochet, also kind of recruiting him a little bit as well.
So what was your take? So I talked to Joe Ryan, and he does like how cool it would be to be traded by one.
He's so excited. I'm so
so
excited. I do like Minnesota.
Yeah. So, but then the photo that Bregman posts of him, Crochet, and Joe Ryan, and then Joe Ryan doing the glass. I think it was like the eyeballs emoji. Maybe I don't know. Is that what he was doing?
He was doing something.
Yeah.
He was very flirtatious.
It was very yeah. And by the way, like tight with Lucas Giolito.
Okay.
Put it this way, it is not gone throughout the Red Sox clubhouse. It's like this is a guy they want. They like Joe Ryan. They like themselves from Joe Ryan.
Will Minnesota trade Joe Ryan?
No, I don't think so. And I know that another report came out because here.
Thanks for coming in, Ron.
Yeah, right. We got 50 more
All right,
minutes with you.
absolutely. Well, I mean,
Took the wind out of the sail real quick.
I mean, are they going to trade him to the Red Sox?
Well, no. Let me just start
could
with
trade
first.
him.
Will they trade him? Like, is he up for grabs? Because if he is, the Red Sox better be in the front of the line, and they have plenty to offer to get him.
Yeah, but
They're 4 games out of a wild card spot with teams in front of them. So if you're saying, is Minnesota a seller? They should be. I mean, I know they have 2 weeks until the deadline. They should be a seller. He's very good, and like you're not just going to give him away for nothing. But are they willing to, in 2 years, give him $200 million?
Okay, so this go back to it lines up with Crochet last year. Same sort of deal, right? So you go back to last trade deadline. The Red Sox tried to get Crochet. A lot of teams tried to get Crochet. The asking price was like, yeah, give us Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony and some other people. I mean, this is the way of the world when it comes to these sort of pitchers at the trade deadline. Brendan Gomes of the Dodgers, get ready for the sick brag drop again.
Yeah.
He was on the podcast. And he told me, he's like, in the offseason, that our goal, because they had this shock and awe offseason, it's like our goal is to get to the trade deadline where we don't need anything because it's 3x for what you're going to have to pay normally. And when you talk about a guy like Joe Ryan, that's what we're dealing with. Is we look at the Garrett Crochet deal and how much they gave up. Well, if they traded for Garrett Crochet at the deadline a few months earlier, it would have been more than that, and that's what you're talking about. So sorry, man,
disappointing.
sad trombone, but
That
you
is
know, it's-
disappointing.
Yeah.
Do the Red Sox have the best package to give for Joe Ryan?
No, I mean, I think the Red Sox, they got rid of a lot of guys. I mean, it's not, and they got rid of a lot of guys. Really, they're not going to trade Meyer. They're not going to trade Anthony. Christian Campbell now has his contract with him. The password is fine. He's an okay player. They have some decent minor leaguers, but I think that what you have to do is start introducing guys on the major league roster, which I don't know if they're going to do. The Jaron Durans, the Rafaelas, like these sort of guys. What's interesting is if you look at Arizona, let's start playing the name game.
Yes.
Arizona, guy Zach Gallen, right? Right? Zach Gallen, contract year, not having a great year, but
Take him.
Boy, I'll take like what he did in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's the type of guy you want out there. The Arizona Diamondbacks are looking for young pitching because they have these guys coming up. So there you go. You have some young pitching. You have the Richard Fitz of the world. If you want to, if you want to jump ship on Tanner Houck, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have some pieces there to get a rental, which is probably going to be the way they go.
If it's not Joe Ryan, who do you think the best starting pitcher that will be traded? Because we're going over a long list. There's a handful of guys that are, were at the All-Star game. Their names have at least been kind of mentioned. But again, if you have to give up way more now, maybe these guys end up getting stuck with their teams. But at some point, some of these sellers are going to say, we got to do what's best for our team, and we're not going to just hold out. Like, let's get something now while we can.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. You look at the starters that are traded at the deadline. And Breslow said this to me the other day. This is undeniably the hardest thing to get at the deadline. What they are looking for is undeniably the hardest thing to get at the deadline because every team is overvaluing. You're taking a risk, and this is why you hear like guys like Charlie Morton's name come up. And everyone, if they got Charlie Morton, everyone would be like, "Oh, really? That's it?" Well, brace yourself, because that's what you might be dealing with because you just can't. Coming back to the Joe Ryan thing, and I don't really know. I mean, maybe some of the Marlins pitchers, but Cabrera is going to cost too much, and the other guy isn't really producing this year. Like, it's going to be a rental, and people aren't going to be probably happy with what they got. So, sorry, like that's what the deadline is. Unless they say, hey, everybody, we pushed the chips to the middle of the table. We traded Devers. We did all this stuff in the offseason. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. But that's not really.
But so Breslow's talked about, adding an impact player, right?
Yes.
Player. Because last year they added 5 players. None of them were impactful.
No. And all of them were traded with guys who were not going to be protected anyway.
So how willing do you think he will be to overpay? Or are they going to say, hey, we're doing well right now, and the team's hot as a pistol, but we don't want to sacrifice the future?
I'll come back to it. Not only with the Red Sox at the trade deadline, I remember talking to Mike Hazen when they had the World Series run, and they fell, and he's sitting there in the postseason, and he, of course, is the Arizona Diamondbacks president, baseball operations, and he's sitting there in the postseason, and he's like saying, "Boy, I didn't get the arm. I didn't get the arm. We fell short." And they're in the middle of it. He's kicking himself because I wasn't able to do it, but he said at the same time, it was impossible to do. The asking prices were impossible. And that was the same message that you got last year, especially with guys under control. So it's not what people want to hear, but we have to look at the history of the last couple of years about when you go after these guys, what it's going to cost. And if you want to do the shock and awe, and I don't even know what the shock and awe is anymore. The shock and awe is putting Meyer in a deal. I think they're not going to put
that'd
Anthony
be shocking.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think either one of those guys is getting traded. Christian Campbell, we've had callers bring up and people – I wouldn't do it probably. I mean, not that he's untradeable, but I just think he was rookie of the month, and then clearly kind of fell apart.
You're selling low on him.
You are really selling low, and you do have him on that what I think could be a team-friendly deal. He does strike me as the kind of player that you could trade, then 2 years you're like, oh, yeah, why'd you trade him? Like he's killing it somewhere else.
Yeah, but you say a team-friendly deal, but is it?
Well, if he's good.
Yeah, if he's good, but what if he's not?
Well,
I mean, if it's not,
right,
then and that's what I think teams look at is like, yeah, you had that good first month. Yeah.
Do they regret that deal at all?
No, I don't think so because not yet.
Yeah.
You can't say that yet because it's the same thing. We have the conversation when they signed the extensions with Bayo and Rafaela. everyone was like, "Why did you do that?"
No, I was one of those
Including
guys.
me.
I did.
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, what are you doing with these guys?
You
That was
didn't need
quick.
to do
And now
that.
they're good. Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, you're geniuses. So good for you. But so I think it's just way too early. But I think if you're going to trade Campbell, teams, it's too risky for a team to say this is the centerpiece of the trade, where you have a guy who had 1 year professional excellence, 1 year professional experience, and then he's good for a month, and then he's really bad, and now he's in AAA just doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say he's going to be bad, but that's a pretty big risk.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think that, I do think that they are more motivated this trade deadline than we have seen in years. That is the one thing that I can say. Like, people say, oh, buyers are selling. No. Well, when you trade Rafael Devers, when you did, like, you better be buyers.
For sure. But then you also can't be 2 weeks from now, add nothing and be like, wow, the asking prices were high.
No,
I don't think anybody's going to be like,
No,
they were?
The Danny Ainge method.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
we
do-
were in on everybody.
We got,
got nobody.
Not good enough. Not this year.
Right. I mean, but you look at a guy like their last sort of trade deadline where they like, oh, my goodness, they look at what they did. Kyle Schwarber, right?
Yeah, 21. This is the only time they had a winning record in the second half.
Remember about Kyle Schwarber.
He was hurt.
He was hurt. Like, they got him on a bargain basement. And I don't
And they were
know-
going to make him a first baseman. And they wanted
Right,
you know what I
well,
mean?
that's the other thing, Billy.
Yeah,
Right?
we'll
Like,
teach him first.
they're
He
like,
was willing to do
We'll
it.
teach him first. Is like, oh, think about that. How we forget that like he hadn't even played first. Oh, we'll just take.
Yeah, we'll
your
make
word
him a
for
first
it.
baseman.
And then, like, I don't know if you have the clip, like, me talking to Chris Sale, but Chris Sale was talking about 2018 when they pushed. He's like, they put the rings on the table, and they when I came to Boston, they put the rings on the table, and they said, hey, listen, we want to win more of these, but it's up to you, and if you do your job, then we'll add. And sure enough, in 2018, you have Steve Pierce early on and Nathan Eovaldi early on, but even then, they needed another start, and you got Nathan Eovaldi.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Nathan Eovaldi,
who's killing it
I mean,
this year,
as
by
much
the way.
as
I'll
everyone
take
is
him.
screaming and yelling about Joe Ryan, let's remember, even Dave Dombrowski couldn't get that guy. Right. So that's the dangerous part of it.
We had that Dombrowski cut we used to always play where they were asking him about the deadline. How come we didn't do anything? He goes, well, we did add Kashner. Remember they got Andrew Kashner? We're like, what? They did. Andrew Kashner.
Oh, so
but if they had a similar conversation this year, not saying that they did with like the rings and everything.
Yeah, like,
if they were get Kashner already, so it's not like we haven't done something to help our ball club.
It's not like we haven't done
We got
something.
Kashner. Lay off. No, but like if you were doing the same thing this year, it's the same kind of conversation. You say, hey, like, you guys got to prove it for us to be buyers. Like, I don't know, winning 10 straight games would be the answer.
Rich, the day after they traded Devers in Seattle, when everyone's like, it's this 1 of 26 and all
That's
that stuff,
amazing. Yeah.
right? I heard the trade deadline mentioned at least 5 times from players. Like, we have to, like, prove to them that, I mean, and think about that. That was mid-June. They all knew what was at stake, and that's what I mean. They were all motivated.
Yeah.
This was going to be the first checkpoint in terms of was this a good move? Are you going to buy at the trade deadline? Are you worthy of buying at the trade deadline? And right now, and I know you can compare it to last year, and they were 10 games up at the break, or whatever it was, but it feels like there is no room for interpretation here. There is zero room for interpretation.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, but I will say this. We mentioned Schwarber. You know who this year's Kyle Schwarber could be?
Marcelo Osuna?
Kyle Schwarber.
Kyle Schwarber. Oh, that would be good.
Right?
I'm all
not,
about
right?
that. Was a huge miss. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Chris Sale.
Don't want him.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
No,
Don't
I'm just telling you. That's just my reaction. I don't want Chris
I mean,
Sale.
he threw for the first time yesterday. He might be ready at the end of August. But he has an option.
I'd rather Nathan Eovaldi. If we're going to do let's grab an old Red Sox, I'd rather Eovaldi than Sale.
You know, they thought that Nathan Eovaldi was that night that before he signed with Texas, they thought they had him.
Really?
They thought they had Eovaldi coming into this year.
That would have been good.
Well, and okay, he's up. He's on a 3-year deal. You have a couple. You have that spot.
Yeah.
Like Bueller will be leaving. You have that
Please.
spot.
Yeah.